Good morning and welcome back to Gaming with ADHD. In this video, we are going to continue our look at my progress at the ontabletop.com Spring Cleaning Hobby Challenge. If you haven't been here before, I am currently working on painting up the models for Imperial Assault from Fantasy Flight Games. Now, these are figures from all across the expansions, because I have most of the set and I've had it in various stages of paint and primer and bare plastic. And so I'm trying to just get the whole project put together. This week I was not able to get as much done as I wanted because I have just been absolutely exhausted from working overtime and my trip last weekend with my son and my wife. And so I didn't get to do as much as I wanted as far as painting was concerned, but I still did get a few things accomplished. I also did get some canned air so that I can start trying to actually clean off the display for the miniatures that I showed in the first video. But enough of me complaining about how much I didn't get done. Let's go ahead and take a look at what I did get done. So, first up, we have the regular troopers for the Wing Guard. Now, these are the city guard from Bespin, and they come in the Bespin Gambit expansion. Now, let me see if I can get a little better focus on this. I don't normally like doing it, but I'm going to leave autofocus on. Now, for these figures, the base color was denim blue from Reaper Paints, and they have black boots, black weapons, and for these guys, since they're the regular troopers, they have gray wrist cuffs and gray headbands on their caps, and then the trim on the coat is in Army Painter True Silver, I believe. There it is. Shining Silver. Army Painter Shining Silver. And then I hit it all with an Army Painter Dark Tone. And the final thing that I did, because I've got black boots on black painted bases, I just hit them with a little bit of gloss varnish, so that they would stand out a little bit different. I also figure the city guard in Cloud City, they'd have shiny boots, and I like how it turned out. So those are the regular guys. If you notice, I did also experiment with some different skin tones. This was basically, I thought it would be a little more appropriate to have a variety of skin tones, because these are also the guards for Lando Calrissian. And as a black guy, at a minimum, I think he'd be pretty good at mixing up, who's in his troops. And so that was my reasoning there. But overall, I actually like how it turned out. I like having the mix, especially in three troopers that are, for all intents and purposes, otherwise identical. So having another way that you can differentiate them a little bit, I do think helps out. But overall, they painted up pretty easily. They do all have beards, so that was a little bit of a challenge to be able to get in and paint the mouth between the mustache and the beard. But overall, I think it looked pretty good as a result. I will also show the elites. So the elites, it's the same basic color scheme, but instead of gray bands on the hat and the wrist cuffs, I went with red, because that's how the elite cards are differentiated, is that they're red. And then I also gave them gold trim on their coats. Other than that, the skin tone choices were the same glossy black boots and pistol holsters. And overall, I think they actually came out really, really good, and I really like how they look. So that's the wing guard. Now, because I did the wing guard, I was trying to decide who to do next, and so as I kind of alluded to earlier, the natural choice was Lando. So we've got Lando here, and let me actually turn autofocus off so it quits zooming in and out. Works a little better on the three guys. So Lando, he was a little bit of a challenge because of the yellow underneath the cloak. In addition, even looking at the card and trying to decide on the color scheme, the cloak actually kind of matched the shirt. That ended up being so it was Ultramarine Shadow for the pants, and then it was and these are both Reapers, or actually all of these were Reapers, and then Desert Sky for the shirt and the cloak, and then I also used Army Painter's Blue Wash for to actually pick up the shadows in it, and I think it worked really, really well. I again went with the gloss varnish on the shoes to make it stand out. Gave a little bit of a gray dry brush on the belt to pick up the details. And I also did a little bit of a gray dry brush on his hair. Sorry, Billy D. Williams. I know you didn't have gray hair in the show, but I needed something to pick out the hair because just straight black wasn't going to look very good. But overall, I really like how he turned out. I was able to get his mustache and not do too much damage to the face. I also learned a trick. I do not do eyes anymore. I put some wash in there so that it's a little bit darker. But other than that, that is good enough for me because nope, not happening. Yeah, I'm not painting eyes. So we'll just leave it at that. But other than that, now I've got Lando Calrissian, and he looks good. So pretty happy with that one. Oh, also, the yellow was Reaper Sun Yellow. That was a bit of a challenge to work with, just because yellows are always a challenge to work with because of how thin the pigments are. But overall, I think it looks great. All right, Lando Calrissian. All right, next I wanted to do something big, but I didn't want to go too big, so I opted for the Tuscan Raider riding a Bantha. Now, my problem with this model is it's brown. It's really brown. It's a lot of brown, and I mean, when you're dealing with a desert kind of model and a race and creatures that would adapt to live in the desert, and so obviously they're going to be very brown. What do? You use all the browns, and so that's basically what I did here. I started with a chocolate brown base, did a dry brush of Vallejo Stone Gray. I really, really like Stone Gray and how it looks. And then basically just picked different shades of beige and brown, and some leathers, and picked out just little details on the saddle. The kind of white looking part is actually brain matter beige from Army Painter. And then I hit everything with the Army Painter dark tone wash. I used khaki for the Tuscan Raider, and then I did black with a little bit of black and steel dry brush for the gun and for the stirrup on the left side. But overall, I really like how this guy came out. Even for sticking to basically one color tone, browns, I think it came out really well. I did use a little bit of rose flesh for the inside of the mouth, but other than that, everything was some shade of brown, and I like it. I think it came out really well. So that is the Tuscan Raider riding a Bantha. And then I've got two more models. So I was trying to decide what to paint, and I opted for the Wampas from the Return to Hoth set. Now, you do get two of them, and so you're supposed to have one regular and one elite. Now, as you can see on the one that's closing or moving away from us right now, actually, I'll go back to describe that in a minute. Basically, I started with a stone gray base, which I then washed with Army Painter Light Shade, and then dry brushed with Brain Matter Beige. Basically, I was kind of going for sort of a polar bear look. I used Vallejo Dark Gray for the pads of the feet, the palms of the hand, and the tips of the fingers, the horns, the ears, and the lips around the mouth. I used a little bit of, what was it? Fair Shadow for inside the mouth. A little bit of Brain Matter Beige for the teeth. And then for the guy coming around for our elite, I just took some Reaper Heraldric Red for the tips of the claws, and then some blood on the underneath the mouth. Basically, I'm calling it the post-appetizer Wampa from The Empire Strikes Back. Basically, from the special edition where you see it kind of eating something, probably the Tauntaun. And so it's got the blood dripping and whatnot. And I figured that would be a good way to mark it out as the elite version. Because otherwise, it's a creature that lives in snow. And why would it have red? So, anyways, overall, I like how these turned out. The miniatures that Fantasy Flight made for this game are really good, and they take paint really well. So even for not getting a lot done, I'm pretty happy with the results. I will have more for you next week. I'm going to try and get the video out on Sunday this time. But until then, wish me luck. If you are interested, you can follow me at ontabletop.com. I do post images as I get things completed, so you can get some in-progress pictures as opposed to just the finals if you're interested in that as well. So I do appreciate your time. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks. Bye.